Good evening, everybody, and good evening, Debbie. How are you?
I'm good, Veronica. How are you tonight?
I am doing great, and I'm so excited about tonight's episode of Listening to Legends.
Yeah, we have a really super good one tonight. I think everybody is going to enjoy these guys and their humor.
Oh, they sure are. They sure are. We've already heard it. We've been on for about 30 minutes with these guys, and we've heard the story.
Yes.
So
I can't wait for the show to be over so I can just holler. I just want to roll here.
We love these guys. This is the Catalinas episode of Listening to Legends tonight, and you're going to hear the whole story of how they got started and all the crazy stuff that they've done over the years and a lot of the people that they've played with over the years. So we want you to join in tonight's episode and write your comments and your questions. Mm-hmm. If you're watching in Facebook right now, down in the comments, let us know you're here. Say, hey, Veronica, hey, Debbie. Just put in a little message. And if you have any questions for the Catalinas, now is the time to ask. We will see your questions and comments, and we'll try to get to as many as we can tonight.
And should you have a problem with getting on, if you're on Facebook watching us and you're having a problem, just shut it down and you can switch over to YouTube. We are or have been experiencing some issues with Facebook in terms of your comments and sound and listening to the music, but fear not. Just switch over to YouTube and we'll keep it moving right along for you.
Sure. So we are streaming live right now on the Hall of Fame's Facebook page and our YouTube channels. So like she said, if you can't get it on Facebook, you can switch over to YouTube. It's youtube.com/NCMHOF, and you'll be able to see our live stream there. On YouTube as well. You can type in the chat and send us your questions and comments, and we will show them on screen tonight, and the Catalinas will answer your questions for you.
And I see we have one. We have Mr. Ken Knox from that super group, chairman of the board.
Hey, Ken. Thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks for everybody that's watching. We got many watching tonight already. Thanks, everybody, for joining. And like I said, whenever you send your comments and your questions in, we'll try to get to as many as possible.
I have to comment about this picture of Ken Knox and Jimmy and Darlene Harrison.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if anybody watching from the Charlotte area, once this COVID-19 is over, you must catch Jimmy and Darlene at some of their shows on Saturday afternoon. They're a super great talent right there.
They sure are. And Jimmy, for any of you that don't know, Jimmy is the brother of Wilbert Harrison, who is also one of our Hall of Fame inductees here.
Yes.
Ken says they are the greatest. They really are.
And they are.
Fantastic.
And really nice, two very nice people.
So tonight, it's October the 27th. We're interviewing the Catalinas tonight. We want to let you know that next week, which is November the 3rd, Election Day, we will not have a live stream on Election Day because we want you guys to focus on that and get out and vote.
Yeah. So we will have a day of listening rest on that day. But fear not, when we get back that following Tuesday.
We got several guests lined up that are very exciting, and you're not going to want to miss it.
Yes, indeed.
All right, so it's enough of us talking here. I'm sure everybody's tired of hearing us, and they want to hear the Catalinas.
Oh, I can't wait. Yes.
All right, so let's bring in the Catalinas. We've got Jack Stallings with us. We have Johnny Edwards, Johnny Barker, and Gary Barker.
Hi.
Hey guys, how are you?
How y'all?
We're good.
Good.
Live and well.
We're very excited that you're on the show with us tonight, and we certainly thank and appreciate you taking the time to be with us.
I had nothing else to do.
Okay. Come spend a little time with Veronica and Debbie. That's fine.
Yes. So let's get started with this interview, and let's go way, way back. We're going to look at a couple of photos here. Now, you guys told us beforehand that this very first photo is the youngest makeup of the group. It's the earliest guys that were together in the Catalinas. Tell us a little bit about this one.
Okay, who's going to start?
Well, I can
Do this.
Jack, go ahead.
All right. Okay. On the actually that's stage right, but from looking at the picture on the left-hand side, holding that microphone is Buddy Emerke. He was the driving force between for the early Catalinas. Singing lead, wasn't a great singer, but he really was good at running the band. Behind him,
That's right.
is Julie Westmoreland. Everybody called her Judy, but her real name was Julie. The piano player. She had perfect pitch, and she was awesome. And of course, the band didn't have a piano at that time, so wherever the band went to play, they had to provide a piano, which made it interesting sometimes. And then from her going over, the first guy there, you see with the guitar, Frank Averett, he passed away a few years after that picture. Then Butch Gallagher. Butch Gallagher was a Myers Park guy. He went to, I think this was when in between graduated from high school and going to college. He became a pretty big attorney in town. And
This is a 30-minute show, Jack.
okay, I got you. Then next to him was O.P. Gravitt. And so the picture's gone now. I'm sorry.
Good Lord have mercy.
I mean, the show's about me, right?
No, Jack, it's not. It's about me.
I'm not in the picture.
Now, this was the earliest makeup of the group, correct?
And they're the ones that Buddy Emerke is the one that decided to do the Black Rhythm and Blues group. And they're the ones that started all that. And they were great. A guy named Bob Meyer was the lead singer. And he later went on to front the Rivieras and had a song out called something.
Behold.
Behold, yeah.
Hey guys, would you say that Buddy Emerke started the band?
Yeah, Buddy started.
He actually stole the guys from, I forgot what the name of the other band was, the King Bees.
Cavaliers.
King Bees.
King Bees. He stole a bunch of King Bees and OC and some other guys. Judy put it together, and they had a big meeting on as to what name to use, whether it was going to be the Catalinas or the King Bees, and the Catalinas came out. So this
is all high school
behind that.
High school band.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Now, you guys,
Most of them rented a room from me at one point in time and never paid any rent, but including Jack Stallings, Buddy Emerke, and but anyhow, we won't get into that. Y'all owe me big time, by the way.
With interest. Don't forget interest.
Oh, God.
Well, that reminds me of that job in Knoxville, but we'll get back to that later.
Oh, Lord.
And
The
so when
I'm
you
not
started out, how many guys were in the group?
At one time, there were 8 guys at a time, and now, but over the years, it's been. I mean, I was like number 16, and that was in 1961. The band started in 57, but I imagine we're into. I don't know, Gary. You.
Well,
I really don't know.
let me say this, if I might, and our hat is off to Gary Barker, because Gary has kept the Catalinas relevant for 60 years now, and with all the music changes and personnel changes that we take our hat off to Gary for keeping this whole thing going.
63.
I can't believe I've been in Catalinas
Yes.
I said I never thought I'd see 79-year-old guys singing Oogum Boogum. But,
Well, you can look at him. You can look at him and tell it's been hard on him.
Yeah, it's been real hard.
It has.
And so over the years, you've traveled throughout North Carolina,
Southeast,
the Southeast.
Yeah.
right.
Virginia, all the way down to Florida, Alabama,
DC,
which brings up one of our
Okay.
guys became a lead. Our lead singer became a pilot, became a charter pilot, and so it got to the point where we could fly to some of these places. The band would take the bus, and then the singers would take the plane. And unfortunately, Tom Black, who was our lead singer and the charter pilot, ended up was on a charter trip and flew into a mountain and killed all of them. So,
Wow.
so that was
Goodness,
the
yes.
sad story of the Catalina.
It wasn't all of the singers in the band. He was flying a charter for some other folks.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Right.
the singer.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
We were on the stage dressed in our gray suits with our yellow polka dot ties
That's right.
without a lead singer. And we were playing the 4 songs that we could do, waiting on you to come in the door, and they never came. So
They never came. That's exactly right.
It's gonna be devastating.
But
okay, yeah. So let's just it's over.
luckily, I was there to save the day with my vocal.
and they had a little chant going.
Oh my goodness.
Of
And
course,
so-
most of the crowd was throwing up too, and a lot of it had to do with Jack, the pickled eggs Jack had eaten before. Well, for sure, we won't get into that.
I always hate that.
Oh, gee.
Oh, boy.
Love those pickled eggs.
And so in your travels, have you played with other groups? Have you open shows for other groups?
Well, the first one I remember, we were talking earlier about the Shirelles. And I got in the band in '64, so
That was a good year.
the Shirelles were big stars at that time, and I remember, Soldier Boy was out, and we actually did a short rehearsal and played behind the Shirelles, which I'm kind of amazed that we would just come out of Charlotte and all of a sudden we're playing with the #1 group in the country, and it was we were kind of awestruck, or I certainly was at the time.
I would say.
Hear that voice that's on that record right there in front of me singing that song was quite a thrill. But yeah, that's first minute.
Well, we played with Sonny and Cher up in Dorton Arena.
Yep.
And I got a chance to stand backstage with Sonny, with Cher for about an hour, and she was absolutely marvelous. But we were very fortunate to play with all kind of groups, and
The band, that was one of the reasons we played with so many acts, was because the musicians in the band were so good.
that's right.
And the booking agent would book us to back up or be on the show with other acts that didn't carry a band with them. They typically would bring a guitar player only, and they would just use some pickup band. But with booking the Catalinas, they got 2 for 1. They got an opening act.
Exactly.
Plus, they had some players that could back up the show, the main attraction. So that's the reason we played for so many different. The first one I ever played with was down in Greenville, South Carolina, on Christmas Day, '61. It was with Hank Tallis and the Midnighters, and it just went on from there.
Yeah.
I mean, you name it, we played with them. And John, I was talking earlier about a guy named John Hook. I think everybody in this business knows him. And he put a book out, I guess it's been about a year ago. It's the first few years of the Catalina, and it took him a long time to research it. But basically, one of the things he found was that the Catalinas played more shows than any other band at the Park Center in Charlotte. And that was the reason, is because the guys were so good. I
So
mean, they
good. Yeah.
I mean, how many can you name?
So,
How many can you name in a few seconds? I can remember Bobby Hebb with
Yeah.
Sonny. He did Sonny, D. Clark, Raindrops, Herman's Hermits,
yeah.
1965. Was that Peter Noonan with Herman's Hermits?
Yeah.
First time I ever was experienced an actual crowd of young girls screaming during rehearsal that day.
Well, now let's don't talk about me again.
Push the
No,
door.
about me. They were screaming about me.
No, y'all. I don't think y'all were there yet. You were, as usual, late. But we pushed the door open, and they just had a glimpse of somebody at the door. Probably 100, teenage girls out there screaming their heads off. I said, so that's what it sounds like. But I remember that night. It was pandemonium. Of course, Dionne Warwick was Park Center. We used to play concert with Joe Pope and the Tams. And I'm telling you, the Tams were super energized back in those days. This is back in their heyday.
They still are.
Oh, they are, but I'm talking about a young Joe Pope.
Wow.
Yeah.
But the dust would come off the rafters in that place when they were there. And I'm telling you, that experience at Park Center was incredible. I mean,
We used to back the Tams up. We used to back them up, play their music.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, one of the big groups was Maurice Williams and the Zodiacs.
That's right.
They had Outstay, and we played a lot of jobs with them all the time at Park Center, as a matter of fact. Cadillac Ball.
That's right.
You remember the Lemon Pipers?
Do what?
I'm not
So
familiar.
They had
So many groups I can't remember.
studio musicians. They had a song called Green Tambourine, #1 in the
Oh,
country.
yeah.
The namesake of our
And
time,
they
I
were
think,
not a
we
band.
backed up,
Thrown
when
together.
we backed up the Temptations, or didn't back them up. We was on the same show with the Temptations.
Yep.
And they let us play the first night with them. Then they asked us to go to Greensboro, I believe it was, the next night and open for them again. And they said that was highly unusual for anybody to ever open for the Temptations.
Well, they had the Marvelettes with them as part of their. Back in those days, Motown had traveling shows, and it was Tyler and Lester, who was a comedian.
Yeah, ventriloquist, yeah.
I mean, later he was huge. He was on the Tonight Show all the time. And the Marvelettes, Don't Mess with Bill, of course. I mean, huge trio group of ladies. And then the Temptations was the act, but we opened for all of that. So
Nice.
we were quite honored. I mean, I can still see David Ruffin getting out of his black limo inside the building in Winston-Salem. In my mind. I remember he had his initials engraved in gold on the back door of that Cadillac.
My goodness.
And they got out back steps. And I'm like sitting back and, wow. It's just amazing. These are 1965. My girl was #1.
Well, we were all so blessed, pardon me, to be with each other. There wasn't any drinking or doping or anything else like this. And like I said, the only problem we ever had is we were constantly late, but that was because of Jack. But other than that, Jack had been piddling somewhere.
Well, in Sydney, too, you had to go by the cleaners.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, we got to talk about Sidney Smith here. Sidney was, I've been playing over 50 plus years. And if I have a mentor, it's Sidney Smith, who passed away last year. Has it been about a year now, guys?
Yeah.
But Sidney was a very unassuming, kind of quiet guy. But again, he had perfect pitch. And he just knew music. He knew how to play without even thinking about it. And I learned so much from him. As a matter of fact, when I first got into the Catalinas, they almost let me go because I was playing bass with my left hand, and which is what piano players do when you're 18. And Sydney taught me how to play correctly with the chords in the left hand, and he was a huge inspiration for me. And he was basically our musical director. He organized our harmonies. He was extremely important to the success of this band.
Mhm. Very nice. And so in your travels, what was your most memorable moment?
You mean on stage?
On stage or at a particular gig?
I think it was going to Nashville recording You Haven't the Right. That was a wonderful time. We were going to do a follow-up on that, but it fell through. But probably the most memorable of all were playing at the Pavilion at Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
We set all the attendance records for 4th of July and all that stuff. That was fun.
The Myrtle Beach thing was incredible. I'm glad you brought that up, because we used to we didn't do formalized shows.
Yeah.
Like as we talked earlier, these two guys screenwrite with the show, along with Mr. Tommy Plyler, who is no longer with us, unfortunately. Tommy was a nut. I mean, that's just all good. Like these two guys here on the right are calm, besides Tom. But we did shows back in the 60s for the Pavilion at Myrtle Beach. We had a sit-down audience for the first show. And we would go make up these elaborate sets ourselves. There was the Long Came Jones and the Choo Choo Train and the scout throwing up in the bucket and throwing it on the crowd. I mean, hilarious.
It was hilarious to us, and the crowd just stood there with perfect on their face.
These days were quite something. Houston was Mr. Houston was the I guess he was the manager.
Yeah, he was the manager.
Matter of fact, that's when I came into the picture. I remember distinctly seeing Jack Stallings dressed in a black mohair suit with red lining on the inside, and we didn't know each other at the time. I was probably 16, 15, in that area of age. But I was just blown away. I said, "This is it. This is the big time." These guys. I just wish people from this generation, and there are a lot of people who are still with us who remember those days, but the younger beach music fans have no idea how good Catalinas were in the middle 60s. I mean, it was all natural talent, and we had more fun than we've ever had in our lives back in those days. As a matter of fact, we still march these times among, the great days of our life. I mean, we all do.
Yeah.
You just hit the key to the band, really. That is, back in those days, we were having fun. We were all good friends. We ran around together. We went places together. We traveled together to these jobs, and the trip there and back was as much fun as playing.
It was playing cards.
It was an experience for us, and particularly at the beach, because like you said, we do the first set was a show. Everybody would sit down, and then they'd move the chairs out for us to do the dance. And we wore those mohair suits. Good Lord, you talk about hot.
Unbelievable.
And it wasn't an air-conditioned venue at all.
That's right.
There was a breeze. You were lucky. But that's why we were so skinny back then, I guess. But yeah, but those, we'd go there. I mean, any place we went, I mean, in the early days before we got the bus, we went in 2 cars.
Yep.
To start out with, we had an 88 Oldsmobile and a 98 Oldsmobile, and 4 guys in each car, and the 2 guys in the back seat had to have a drum between them.
Bass drum.
A bass drum, and one was a floor tom tom. And so we'd get to the job, and I remember one day we had, well, actually, there was one day we played 3 jobs. Anyway, I'll get to that another time maybe. But
It's 30-minute show, Jack. 30-minute show.
And this was before I-85. You know, you had to take highway, what is it, 29 or whatever, to go to Atlanta from Charlotte and through every little town. And then come, and we had to spend the night and get up the next morning and play for a big deal at Women's College, which is now UNC Greensboro. And it was a huge deal. Well, we had, between the 2 cars, we had 3 flat tires. Now, here's the thing. When you're carrying all that equipment in the trunks of your cars, including clothes, there's no room for spares. We never had a spare tire. So it was like you got to stop and flag somebody down, and no cell phones. Get somebody to come help you. Anyway, we had 3 flat tires within those 48 hours. Busted a spring on one car. Finally get to that job in Greensboro an hour late, and then have to carry all our equipment clear across the campus because the parking lot was so far. Anyway,
I don't want to interrupt you, but you brought it up. On that trip back, we stopped at some dive, and Jack and Johnny Howard got pickled eggs.
no, that's not part of the story. So
And we got up.
Egg.
I don't believe I'd tell that one.
you know, he's hung up on pickled eggs. And he's getting up in years and things like that. Fascinating. But anyway, so we get there and we were late. We get set up, and the first tune we do is a James Brown tune called "Good Good Lovin'."
Yeah.
And then the next thing is a drum thing. And then you start. Got something. Anyway, so, and we go, crash. Well, we look back, and Rob's drum set had fallen off the back.
Gone everywhere.
So now we're over an hour late now. Anyway, make a long, and then the piano quit, and we had to roll in another grand piano. So we didn't play back at Greensboro at that school.
Yeah, I look back there.
We were blacklisted from ever playing there. And Gary, have you ever played back there again? I don't know that we had.
Don't remember it.
Well, that had to do with pickled eggs, didn't it?
No, it wasn't the pickled eggs. But anyway, so that was an interesting.
It took me 2 dry cleaners to get the smell out of my darn outfits.
Okay, fine.
It was in the rider, no pickled eggs.
Anyhow.
Back in the old days of riding in the cars, Jack had a pretty famous station wagon.
Oh God!
Yeah, it was a '56 Chrysler station wagon, and it had the instead of a lever that you pulled to change to do drive or whatever, reverse or whatever, it had buttons on the dash. And I threw a rod going from Columbia to Maxton. We played in Columbia one night, and then had to play an afternoon thing with the Olympics at what's that?
That's
80 degrees. Yeah.
Oh my God, that was hot. Oh, good Lord. But anyway, so we threw a rod in the car, and then had to play that night back in Charlotte for Memorial Nurses or somebody. It was, so, I mean, every weekend was something. It was
an adventure for sure.
Yeah. And then when we got the bus, we bought that bus, and they said, well, what are you going to do about tires? We didn't know that tires didn't come with the bus. So anyway.
Oh boy.
Okay.
We actually have a photo of your tour bus here. Tell us a little bit about when you guys got the tour bus.
Got the what?
The tour bus.
Oh, that bus right there.
Yeah, that's
Um,
the one that had the Catalinas painted, but every time we had to go to the restroom, we opened that door and chipped the paint off our name.
yeah, there we are lined up. What happened there is, well, that's our trip to Nashville to record. The guy sticking his head out at the top there is a guy named Rusty Page. He played briefly with the band back in the day before I joined the band. I think about 1960 something in there for maybe a month or something like that. And,
Well, he introduced us at the Hall of Fame presentation. That was
Yeah.
Rusty.
yeah, that's right.
Oh,
But there we are lined up. But that's our old bus. We had it converted. We put bunks in it, and so with seats up front, and then bunks in the middle, and then the back we had a huge round table. We played poker on the way to and from jobs.
And who is the best poker player? Who won?
Well, I think I probably was. I don't like to brag. I do like to brag. But,
You know, I just realized something. Johnny Edwards has on the lay.
that's right.
He does.
I just saw that. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, tell us about that and how you guys got your name.
Well, that was what I was telling you. There was a song called Santa Catalina, Island of the Sea by the Four Preps, and the Buddy Emmerke and the guys, they had a thing called the Beach Ball. And originally they were named the Cavaliers, and they changed it to the Catalinas really because of that song, Catalina. And when they first started, they wore lays, and hadn't worn them since, but I still wear them. But I wear them around the house, as a matter of fact.
He gets a lot of looks at the Walmart too.
Yeah, but anyhow, that's where the lays came from.
And they're on a Hall of Fame picture, by the way.
They are.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are. And I think it was Mr. Edwards' suggestion that we must wear the lays because
That's exactly right.
wore them at one time earlier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I see a
Just what was
question
your
there.
favorite song to play for a crowd? Probably Shout. I don't know.
We got a question. We got a question here from Catherine. She wants to know, what was your favorite song to play for a crowd?
Well, that's over a few years here.
That's Jack's daughter.
Yep.
Okay.
I think it was. I don't know. I'd say "Shout" was the one that was a big production for us. I think we got a great response on that song. I don't know.
Yeah.
The crowd loved that song, and we like to do songs that the crowd likes, so.
And we had a great comedic presentation of it when we got to the breakdown with "I Feel All Right."
Yeah.
And Jack, I feel so good. And it's really with the getting sick, and then Rob would bring the bucket around and put the microphone in the bucket for Jack to make the noises that you make when you're not feeling so good.
Yeah.
And eventually there's something in the bucket. So then he straightens up and he feels much better all of a sudden because he just threw up in the bucket. So Rob grabs the bucket and starts chasing people around on stage with it. And of course it's full of confetti, right? I mean, it's just vaudeville. And eventually it ends up being thrown out to the crowd and they all go crazy. So, and then
we used to love to play. We used to love to play Sherry by the Four Seasons, some of the Four Seasons stuff.
I like that song. Yeah.
Yeah, that was where the fight scene was.
Oh yeah. I forgot about
Well, that's why Tommy Black could sound like anybody.
Yep.
And that's why we could do songs that other people couldn't do. He could do Little Anthony and the Imperials and Frankie Valli or whoever.
I remember WKIX in Raleigh when You Have It the Right came out. I mean, back in those days, it was near impossible to get a regional group song played on radio stations.
Right.
Everything was programmed. I'm talking mid 70s, as radio was huge back in those days. But WKIX in Raleigh played "You Have It the Right" and said the Catalinas, a poor man's four seasons.
Yeah, Poor Man, Four Seasons.
Poor man, four seasons. Right.
Yeah. Well,
Thank
So
you.
I was getting ready to ask you, Johnny, about the song that you wrote, "Summertime's Calling Me." Tell us a little bit about how that song came about. And we also have another question regarding that song from Diane. Did you ever expect that song to become the biggest beach song?
No, I knew it was a different song. I think the thing about "Summertime's Calling Me" is it was an innovative song for the time. In the mid 70s, beach music didn't have the name beach music until mid 70s, maybe a year or two past that. It was mentioned as beach music at the time, but it wasn't didn't catch on as the name it is now. And I kept thinking that we were sort of mired down in Southern rock, trying to keep up with the current times. We were not the Allman Brothers, but we were playing Allman Brothers songs. Just to keep up with the times. And I'm thinking, like, we need to do something about the beach, or we need to get back to where our roots were. And to me, I said it might be. I thought it was hokey at the time, honestly. "Summertime's Calling Me" and sitting there in the sand. And I said, well, let's give this a try. And so we recorded it in 1975, 76. Wrote it on the way up to a job we had up in Appalachian State. And in the car by myself, it was snowing. So that's all true. Scribbling on the back of a matchbook cover and trying not to run off the road at the same time. And I probably got the first three. I probably got the chorus, which was the hook of the song. Sit there in the sand, watch those golden tans go walking by. It's different now. "Summertime's Calling Me." I knew "Sit There in the Sand, watch those golden tans" was a strong hook. I just didn't know what I was going to do with it. So anyway, I got home later that night and put it together and we recorded it. The demo version at Sidney Smith's house in his basement. Our first demo of it was kind of a slow song. Mediocre slow. And anyway, it evolved, and we ended up recording it at Reflection Studios in Charlotte. And we got 45, of course, back in the days of 45. And tried to take it around the radio station. Walk to the station and my song. No, give it a
is it
no.
morning yet? God, right. Let's do some Reader's Digest versions and stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot more I'm leaving out here. But anyway, it finally caught on one night. Gary and I were in the band, and we were playing at Wofford down in Spartanburg. And we said, here's our new song, blah, blah, blah. And we started off "Summertime's Calling Me," and usually nobody responded. However, one time, and this was the start of it, the sorority girls at the sorority house and their dates all lined up and started doing a line dance to "Summertime's Calling Me." And Gary and I kind of looked at each other like, what's going on? And come to find out from that point forward, it was an all with all the fraternity sororities about got to go to the beach. Sit there and stand, and it's rest. I guess the rest is history.
Can we possibly have some Joe Namath commercials or something in here?
Yes. Well, speaking of which, tell us about your jingles. I understand that you wrote jingles for various products.
Well, I was a studio musician myself back in those days, Reflection, and we did I did sessions for whomever came into the studio, and we did a lot of commercials. Also, okay, guys, Slimy River Bottom Boys, take it away.
Well, that was actually we were doing a commercial there at Arthur Smith Studio in Charlotte. We weren't doing the slime stuff on that particular occasion. It was a commercial, and I don't know. You might have been there, Johnny. I can't remember what commercial that was.
It's Holly Farms Chicken.
Oh, okay.
That one.
Actually, one of those days, I think one of those pictures there in the studio, we did a backup for the Embers, believe it or not. They came to town to record an album.
Right.
And they didn't have horns at that time. All they had was 4 pieces. And so they hired us to play horns on their album before they picked up some other guys that actually played horns. So, of course, they don't remember that, but I certainly do.
Might be worth mentioning Arthur Smith Studios, which eventually became Studio East in Charlotte. As a major contributor to our music and lots of other music. Arthur Smith was a legend back in the day.
Yeah.
And Arthur's son, Reggie Smith, played bass in the Catalinas for a period of time right before I got it.
I think for a weekend, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't long.
But it's all a real close, tight-knit organ, a bunch of people. We all worked together, knew each other. But that's where James Brown's Papa's Got a Brand New Bag was recorded.
Yeah.
Right.
Love that.
Yes.
My favorite James song.
Now we got another photo here. This is the Slimy River Bottom Boys, and you said that you guys had put this together, and you were also playing in the Catalinas as well.
We got the name from an old Andy Griffith show called a song called the Slimy River Bottom, and we played a lot of hootenannies, and actually we've heard that was also used in the as a song in Brother Who Art Thou, the Soggy Bottom Boys in the movie, but I don't know how truthful that was, but we had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah, we played a lot of shows with that, and when the Catalinas weren't playing, we'd do that and to make some money. But we never used that, the Slimy River Bottom Boys, and to keep the Catalinas from playing. I mean, the
That's
Catalinas
exactly
were
right.
our primary band.
I remember. I believe y'all played during the breaks sometimes, didn't you? Didn't you get up and do some plays during the breaks?
I think we did once or twice, but the college, the fraternity crowd didn't particularly like that.
No, we played most of it. It was all shows. That was just the Coliseum. We played the Coliseum type places and
strip shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
No. I missed that.
Oh my goodness.
Davidson job at 2 to 5,
Yeah.
Okay.
Now there's another song that you guys are well known for called You Haven't the Right, and that one was written by Tommy Plyler.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
What was his inspiration behind that one? And was he, Johnny and Tommy, the main songwriters for the group?
Well, Tommy Plyler had tremendous talent. He just never could quite figure out where it fit. And I think he had broken up with a girl, and he just happened to say she didn't have the right to treat me like that or something. And that came up with You Haven't the Right. But Tommy went out to California and got a degree. He went to Hollywood and tried to get in the music business. Got a degree at Pasadena State College, and then came back, and bless his heart, he never fulfilled that dream, but he was a talented man. We miss him a lot.
The way Tommy worked the best, Tommy, I mean, people say Tommy was a nut, the way he worked with John and Jack Stallings here was unbelievable. I'm telling you, you can't write those kind of things. They just happened. He was extremely spontaneous.
Yeah, he was.
To do off-the-wall things that people would look at him and scratch their head, you know. I remember in Jack's old station wagon, he got up on the hood and was the hood ornament.
Yeah,
Yeah. There's a picture of that somewhere.
one of our promo pictures.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, you just almost had to be there to understand the chemistry between Plyler and Stallings and Edwards. We were, I'm not trying to embarrass him or anything, but we musicians in the band were the best. I mean, it was such a combination of music and entertainment. And again, I can't stress how much that none of this, that some of it was planned, some of it was rehearsed.
That's right.
You figured out what worked with the crowd, and then these guys were actors. I'm serious. I mean, it's just another dimension that isn't just standing up there and playing a song. So,
Yeah.
great
I remember
movie.
when you guys were inducted in 2013 here, and you had the whole group here. Tommy definitely stuck out. He was definitely the clown in the group, and he was just such a delight to be around.
That's the right word, clown, by the way.
Yeah.
And we'll show a photo right here again. This is their induction.
Well,
And
that's
in the middle.
we've lost Tommy and we've lost Sydney, who is the second from the left, and yeah. But that was a wonderful night, and we certainly thank the Hall of Fame for that whole evening. It was wonderful.
I remember you guys that night. I did a lot of laughing. You guys were hilarious. So I understand that there was a movie that you guys, some of you were in a movie.
A movie.
Yes. Like I said, it was called Moonshine Mountain, and 4 of us actually had speaking parts in it. And I don't like to brag.
Oh boy. No.
But I was the only one they didn't throw out of the theater after they showed it. It was an awful movie, but anyhow.
It was the worst movie. It was, as a matter of fact, it's in a cult group of B movies that are the worst movies ever done.
Ever made. Yeah.
It was back in an era called, a movie was out called Blood Feast. Jack, you probably remember Herschel. There was a guy named Herschel, somebody.
Herschel Lewis
was his name.
He was the producer or the director. But the movie was a Blood Feast, was this gory, ridiculous, sick movie. And that's the guy that did our movie. Our movie had a lot of that in it. But
He wrote it. It was Herschel Lewis that had that series of movies.
yeah,
And he wrote this when he came to town. And it turned out that the movie booking house in town that was going to handle the movie, actually, we had a connection with somebody that worked there, and they were looking for a band and said to play some music there. And we said, sure, we'll do it. And I think we got paid $20 a piece or something
like that. Yeah.
But it was the fun of it. We went down, they filmed it down around Chester, and there was a barn dance thing and some other things. But I'll never forget they had a truck that they rented, and it was Unit 2. And that was the only one they had. They called it Unit 2 for some reason. But anyway, Herschel Lewis, and I guess he's still around. I don't know, but he did a whole series of those movies.
well, Herschel,
It was horrible, but it was fun to do.
if Herschel's still around, I do not apologize for saying it was the worst movie that's ever been done.
No, I think he knows that. Yeah.
I think he does too.
I'll stand behind that all the way.
Jack, is John Stallings any relation to you?
That's my son.
Okay.
He's up in Brooklyn. I didn't know he was going to be on watching this. I'm glad he's there.
Okay.
Hey, John.
Love you, son.
And he remembers Moonshine Mountain. That's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and he mentioned the pickled eggs too
Oh boy.
on a comment, and he said, "I love the Catalinas."
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Well, I could
Well,
tell some stories on Edwards too. Now,
no,
he,
we don't need to get into that,
well, I mean, if you're going to talk about the pickled eggs, I'll never forget coming out one day and
No, that's okay, Jack. I'm
Yeah.
reading my Bible. I'm reading scriptures right now.
yeah, well, I noticed that you had dents in the top of your car, in your roof of your car, and I said, I've
let's
seen
not get
cars
into that.
with accidents, but they're always on the side or the back or in front. Why is the top of your car dented in? And he said, well, I stopped at washed my car at one of those self-washing places, and the hose is hanging down. He said, when I finished washing the car, I closed the car door, but didn't notice that I closed it on the hose. And when I drove away, anyway, he drove away. He pulled the whole top of the car washed off the top of his car, and those water everywhere.
Oh no.
That's just real good. Let me reiterate how much we appreciate the Barker boys for keeping the whole Catalina's name and tradition. They've got their younger brother in there now. It's going to be called the Barker Group pretty soon.
No.
Because most of our crowd is dying off. And but anyhow, like I said, I always take my hat off to the Barker boys.
Yeah.
Let's take a second, and I think we need to mention a few names, especially the heart of the group back in the day when I joined the band. Rob Thorne was playing.
That's right.
Sidney Smith was playing bass. I played piano. I played the Wurlitzer piano. Then Gary Barker, my brother, played guitar. That was the back four.
Yeah.
Then we have Johnny Edwards and Jack Stallings. We have Tom Black, who's passed away in the plane crash.
Yeah.
And of course, Tommy Plummer. That was the heart of that group for many, many, many years.
Yeah.
And that's the group that made a mark. That, as I don't remember, I know I mentioned it early, but you really, this generation of beach music fans missed out a lot by not being able to see that particular band in person. Now, a really dark time in our history was when we lost our lead singer, Tom Black, in the plane crash. That was devastating, to say the least, because we were literally all brothers.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how that affected us in such a it's very harmful, very, very negative way. And as a matter of fact, I think, Jack, you may have left soon after that. Johnny and Jack and Tom, they grew up together, basically. So we had a real struggling effort just to keep it together back in those days. The next few years were very tough. Then when we recorded Tom's Calling Me, it sort of took off. It did take off. So the Catalinas enjoyed the success all through the 80s with Summer Calling Me. I went with another group in the 80s, and Gary kept the band together. And that's what he's talking about.
That's exactly right.
That's right. And Gary's the reason, he's actually the reason that we're still together now. Because I was gone for many, many years doing other things, came back to be with the band back in 2014. So we have an excellent band now, Catalinas. We have a young lady, Angela Rezinalo, one of our lead vocalists. Mr. Barry Duty, our lead vocalist. Dwight Nichols is in the band as a lead vocalist. There are three excellent singers. Of course, Gary and myself. On drums, we have Cody Wall. On the bass, Ben Barker, our third in the band. This is kind of cool for us to be able to get to see each other. We don't live in the same town. And who am I leaving? We have a horn section, Robo trumpet, Mary Duke plays sax, and Evan on tenor. Wonderful player. So we're still going on here. But but we're not playing, obviously, because of COVID. And just get those names out there for everyone. That's who's here. That's who was there then. And the hundreds of other members of that have come and gone. So,
Your voice is cutting out on me up here. Is it y'all too?
Somewhat.
It's a little
Yeah.
bit
Not
choppy.
listening like some
Yeah.
speed somewhere.
It is.
you mean I have to do that all over?
Please,
No.
please.
No.
No, we got it. It was just a little bit choppy, like you're going in and out a little bit, but we definitely heard what you said.
Okay.
And we definitely know that you and Gary are very significant parts to this group. And Johnny is actually a double inductee here at the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame.
That's right. Yeah.
He is our only inductee that has been inducted twice with another group, and that's the Embers.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I talk about being at the right place at the right time. You know,
Very nice. Congratulations.
you, Miss McFadder.
You're very welcome. I know another gentleman that made history like that too. I won't call any names, but he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice.
Was that Clyde?
Yes.
I'll
Yes.
be there.
With the Drifters as founder and lead singer with the Drifters, and then as a solo artist. And so I think I just found out a little secret. It's somebody's birthday today.
Actually, my birthday was, when was it? Monday or Tuesday? The 26th, which was
Yes.
yesterday.
And then somebody else has a birthday today.
That's
Who
right.
is that?
Happy birthday, Johnny.
Yes, Johnny Barker.
No, it's not my birthday.
Oh, that's John. That's me. Yeah.
Yes, Johnny.
Oh,
is.
yeah,
it's Johnny B.
Doug is a problem. Well, my birthday is September the 8th. It was just recently, but not today.
Oh, okay. Well, happy belated birthday to you.
Thank you. We got
And
to.
happy birthday to you, Johnny B.
Yes, thank you.
And Ken Knox from chairman of the board. He says congratulations.
And we love Ken Knox and the chairman.
Yeah, he's great. He's the greatest.
Yeah, I enjoy going to see shows, his concerts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they do an excellent job. Excellent.
It's a wonderful thing to be able to do something you love as much as we like
Sure.
music, and get paid occasionally, you know.
Well, I will say this, you know, we've had a lot of fun talking about the old days when we played together. But frankly, I have to say that the band right now, if you haven't seen them, you're really missing a treat. That's one of the greatest bands on the circuit, and I'd put them up against anybody, anytime. And I love to see them. And to me, they're the best I've ever seen. But you know, it's a different day. But let's don't forget about the current Catalinas. That's an awesome group. Thanks to you guys for continuing the tradition.
Thank you, guys.
Sure. Very nice.
Well, it's been built on a very successful foundation. And again, thanks to the Barker brothers of, carrying it on whenever it kind of reached a low spot for you guys, and still going strong. So I know, Johnny, you were telling us about a project that you had gotten started, and then it kind of stopped here recently with everything going on. So what is the band up to now? Do they have anything planned? I know it's hard for anybody to perform anywhere, but is there any projects going on?
Well, I think in the last 6 months we have had 3 jobs, and it's unbelievable. But we're not 100% full time in the business any longer, so we're not suffering as much as the people who 100% depend on music for their income. So, but we have been recording nonstop. I have a studio of my own that you can see here in the picture, where I record our music, and we get the guys to come in and do their parts. And we've got at least 10 songs that we've released individually that have not been put together in any way except on compilation albums. So we're going to put all those songs together in the very near future and release a new CD very soon. So that is forthcoming. I had hoped to have some more Christmas music done and produced this year, but honestly, COVID has kind of hampered that process quite a bit. So that's going to be delayed, or maybe we'll get 1 or 2 out, but certainly not a whole CD. But yeah, the Catalinas, we're recording. We have songs on the charts on a fairly regular basis, and we're going to keep it going. Definitely going to keep it going.
Awesome.
Yep.
We look forward to it. Any concerts for 2021?
We have a lot of most of the jobs that we lost are outdoor festival. We do an awful lot of festivals.
Mm-hmm.
Are rebooked for next year. So yeah, we hope that's going to be happening by next year, certainly.
Great.
Yeah. And I think we got one last question here. This is from Lee Johnson. Hello, Gary. My favorite song is Summertime Calling Me. Last year, I finally got to meet and hear the singer-songwriter that wrote that song, and it was my pleasure to meet Gary.
Huh. Now that should go to Johnny. He's the one that wrote that.
Johnny, yep.
Yeah, Gary played guitar and sang on it.
Yeah.
Gary and I sang the backup on Summertime's Calling Me together, just the 2 of us. And of course, Gary played the guitar and I did the keyboards. And yeah. Thank you for that compliment. It's amazing how many people love that song. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's in the world to have somebody I've never met come up and, tell me it's one of their favorite songs. So
Right.
no bigger compliment as a songwriter than that very thing.
Yeah. Well, it's so iconic. I think it's just one of those songs that makes you think of the beach immediately, and it's so well known in the beach music, circle.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Love it.
So this has been so nice having you guys here with us tonight. We've already been on for an hour, and we've enjoyed it so much and enjoyed hearing your stories.
Well, I think we could do another couple of hours if we could get Edwards back. But
yes. What
apparently,
happened to him?
good question. Well, you know how he has to go to the bathroom. So.
Oh boy.
Okay. All right.
Well, that's okay. I think he was having some audio issues too, is where we heard the little roaring.
Yeah.
Guys, Veronica and Debbie, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for doing this production. We love it, and we appreciate your work. And it just means so much to people who love music. So thank you very, very much for all you've done.
You're very welcome. It's our pleasure.
Well, we want to help people learn more about our inductees, learn more about the genre, specifically beach music tonight. They got to learn a little bit more about that. Debbie, tell everybody a little bit about the new exhibit at the North Carolina Museum of History that includes the Catalinas.
Yes, I was there on Friday to view the exhibit because my father's exhibit is there as well. And if you have not gone to see it, I think you should. It's an excellent exhibit, a lot of history, a lot of teachings there for those that don't know the history of the music. And
there I am.
I enjoyed it.
I'm back. I got cut off for some reason.
That's okay.
That's okay. That's okay.
Right now.
That's what counts. That's what counts.
Yes. So that beach music exhibit at the Museum of History in Raleigh, you guys make sure you go out and see it.
And see it.
Normally, when we do the Listening to Legends interviews with each of our inductees, we'll have their exhibits here at the museum behind me, or either I'll be out on the display floor where you can see those. Yes. But their exhibit is in Raleigh right now. And a lot more people are getting to see it in Raleigh. The Museum of History there, a normal year, see about 400,000 visitors. So you guys, a lot of people are going to be seeing the Catalinas.
That's awesome. It's the Museum of History, is that right?
Yes, in downtown Raleigh.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
And so last Friday when I was there were a few people that were there, and you can see the interest. It's not like they came in and left. They were reading, studying each exhibit, which is a good thing. So hopefully you guys will be able to shoot over there and see it.
I've been, by the way. I went about 3 weeks ago or something like that.
Okay.
I spent about an hour there. Wish I had gone earlier because it closed, and I could spend another hour. Honestly,
Absolutely.
highly recommend.
So many interviews and pictures and just seeing the exhibits, the records of certain groups that they have on display.
When did they open that Museum of History?
You know, I've only lived in North Carolina for 7 years, so I'm not sure, but the building itself looks relatively new.
Yeah, the Museum of History, North Carolina Museum of History has been there for many, many years. They just opened this exhibit though within their museum.
I think we're still talking to them. I think that it's not being recorded now.
Debbie, where were y'all? Debbie, where were you born?
I was born in New York, Johnny.
Jackson.
I'm not really a Southern girl. Not yet. I'm getting there.
So what I was saying is that the exhibit that's at the museum right now, as soon as that exhibition is finished, it will be back here at the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame Museum for everybody to see here.
I asked one of the people there when I went how long it was going to be there, and they said until September next year.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah,
and COVID had thrown off that schedule as well. So that's good to hear.
Sure. And originally it was supposed to open in May.
Okay.
Yeah, in May. But it is a must-see, and hopefully you guys will, for the exception of Johnny Barker, the rest of you will get out and take a peek at it, and our viewers will do the same thing. It's well worth the visit.
Absolutely.
Sounds great. Sounds great.
Thank you so much for having us. We love all of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
We are so glad that you guys could join us tonight on Listening to Legends. And if you haven't already, those of you that are watching, go to our YouTube channel and click subscribe. That way you know whenever we do go live with these shows. Also, go to our Facebook page, our Twitter page, and Instagram. Make sure that you follow us and share these interviews. This one will stay up on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel so that you can come back and watch it anytime. And make sure you share them with everybody and let everybody know about these interviews.
Yes.
So we will close out tonight's show with those two big songs that we were talking about. You Haven't the Right and Summertime's Calling Me by the Catalinas. And thanks again, guys, for being with us. And we hope that you have a good night.
Thank you.
And when you do your
Thank you.
next concert, I'm coming to hear you. I'm coming to see you guys.
Debbie, look forward to it. Look forward to it.
Absolutely. All righty.
Great.
Okay.
All right.
Good meeting you, Johnny Edwards. Take care.
Thank you, darling.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Nice meeting you as well. Enjoyed it.